Hey everyone, welcome back. I have to tell you that one of my favourite things to do, by far, is to go into Dimick's bookstore in the city and just walk around. On Thursday nights, I have late night shopping after dinner, or on the weekends, I always go in, I check out all the books that are out, and there has been one book that has been on the top of the bestseller list for a couple of months now. I bought it, but I didn't read it. But I thought it's still on the bestseller list, so I thought I'd check it out. It is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. You may have heard of Mel Robbins before. She's written books like I think it's called the High Five Habit and the 5 Second Rule. I haven't read any of her stuff prior to this. To be honest, I'm a little bit not disinterested, but like self-help kind of books aren't at the top of my list of books that I want to read anymore. I mean, they're still valuable, but I kind of feel it's a lot of, I don't know, old wine, new bottles kind of thing with a lot of these books, and which lead me to what my thoughts of this book are. So The Let Them Theory is basically a book about Stoic philosophy. It's basically just a popular or pop version of Stoic philosophy. The theory is essentially you have absolutely no control over how someone else behaves, but you have absolute control about how you react to that person's behavior. So it could be someone at work, it could be someone in your family, it could be someone cutting you off in traffic or whatever it is. It's very empowering when you subscribe to that idea. It's very simple to say, very hard to do. But the core idea is that, like, if you're letting someone take charge of your emotional state, it's very disempowering. And so the Let Them Theory is, you know what, let them not return your calls, let them be rude to you, and you just focus on what you're doing and what your next steps are, because ultimately they're not going to change their behavior, and that's fine. And any fantasies that something that you're going to do that's going to make them behave better or whatever, it's just not worth the energy you're investing it in. So I would recommend, so if you've read no Stoic philosophy, like if you haven't read Meditations, or if you haven't read any of the Seneca stuff, or if you haven't read like the Daily Stoic or anything like that, this will be really new ideas for you. Someone who has read a lot of Stoic philosophy, this is probably not going to be, there's not going to be any groundbreaking ideas in this book, but I think she does do a really good job at storytelling around when you get older. There's kind of a shifting of how your adult relationships happen, and she calls it the great scattering. She calls it, like, as you get older, it's harder to make friends, firstly, and she sort of unpacks that. The reason why it's so easy to make friends when you're young is because let's say you meet someone at college or at uni or whatever, you're spending so much time with them. As you get older, you don't have any time. So I think the research was it takes something like 200 hours for you to develop a close friendship with someone. 200 hours is not nothing. And so that's why so many of your friends when you're young are there, and as you get older, it becomes more and more difficult. And there's also a random fact that like 85% there's like a drone flying over the top here with a dog chasing it. 85% of affairs actually start in the workplace, because everyone at work is spending so much time together, and you naturally, people are building connections. So what do I think of this book? I think this book is good. I think this book is a really good gateway drug into reading other Stoic philosophy. This is like a really easy read. It's not very wordy. It's only a couple hundred pages. But if you've read no Stoic philosophy at all, I think definitely pick it up. If you've read like Meditations, for example, it might be like a bit of a refresher. But ultimately, I think the fact that the best-selling book on Amazon right now is a self-help book, fine, but it's a self-help book that's actually about Stoic principles, which I think is awesome. So this week's book recommendation, The Let Them Theory, I do recommend this book. I think you should pick it up. I know a lot of people don't read that much, and so if you're only reading a couple of books a year or whatever it is, I think adding this to your rotation or your list of books, I think would be valuable. that's all for today. I'm in the park here in the Domain. Thank you so much for watching. As always, be kind, be careful. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.